Okay, today we're going to talk about polycrylic versus polyurethane as it relates to putting it over your stain. We're going to look at polyurethane, we're going to look at polycrylic, we're going to go through which one you want to choose depending on a variety of circumstances. We'll also take you and show you a project we just finished that has one of them, and you can see why it's the best for the situation. Again, if you like what we're producing here, if you like what you see, please hit the like button. Please help us out by liking this video and hit the subscribe button. That way you'll get notified of future videos that we do. Okay, let's dive in and get started.
So we need to examine the characteristics of this polycrylic and the polyurethane, and we also need to understand the technology of the stain that we're going to try to put it over. Polycrylic is, right here it says in big letters, is water-based. There's a lot of advantages to water-based. One is it's easy cleanup, so you just clean up with soap and water, brushes or rags or whatever. And another is that it is less toxic to smell and less offensive to smell putting it on. It can impart a slight whitish tint to whatever you put it over, although typically it doesn't do that. Now, polyurethane is oil-based. As an oil-based product, it is very durable, more durable than polycrylic, but it also is a messier cleanup. You have to use mineral spirits or something similar in order to clean up the brush or whatever you use to put it on. And also the smell, if you're in a closed environment, can be both offensive to smell, it can be toxic, and it can actually explode if it gets dense, if the gas gets dense enough in a small room where there's a flame like a pilot light for a water heater. Now that said, it's very important to understand what the stain is made of. What is its base? Is it a water-based stain or is it an oil-based stain? If you really would prefer not to mix a top coat of oil base over a base coat of water or vice versa, it's always good to say with the same either water-based or oil-based technology. So if I were doing exterior and covering stain, I would have started out using a stain that's oil-based because I definitely want to put polyurethane, an oil-based product, over top of it as the finish coat because it's definitely a lot more durable outside, especially if there's any sunshine involved. If I'm inside, I would match which one of these I use to my preference on the stain. Sometimes stains don't come in the same color, both oil-based and water-based, so sometimes the color selection drives you to one or the other, or maybe you have a preference because of it's safer and doesn't smell and easy cleanup. So again, these two products are both very good. They're both very durable. Polyurethane is more durable and it's the only choice if you're going to be outside, but this is definitely durable and it's easier to put on, easier to clean up. Now let's go look at an example and talk through what was done on that particular piece and how it relates to the polycrylic and the polyurethane. So here's a good example of putting a finish over stain on a table. This is the farmhouse table that we built. We think it turned out really well. It's not expensive lumber. And the preferred stain was this gray-blue color stain, and it only came in water-based, a water-based stain. And so we used, over top of it, several coats of polycrylic, which, as a matter of fact, it came out of this can, which we brushed on. It takes some care to brush on water-based polycrylic because you have to keep a wet edge. It dries much more quickly than an oil-based product. That's an advantage in some ways, but when you're putting it on a large table like this, that can be a little daunting to make sure you keep a wet edge across the entire table and from one end to the other. But as you can see, it turned out great, and it's very durable. This finish has been on here for several years, and it has stood up very well to family-style eating and without any really particular care. We don't wax it particularly. We don't worry about putting anything else on it. You just wipe it off with a damp cloth and it's good to go. We could have gotten very similar results with polyurethane, but we didn't choose an oil-based stain, so the oil-based was not appropriate to put over top of it. It would have given us a very durable finish. It would have probably yellowed the color very slightly, but it would have been a very acceptable outcome. In summary, we have learned that we choose the finish to put over our stain based on the technology of the finish. Is it a water-based stain, in which case we use polycrylic? Is it an oil-based stain, in which case we use polyurethane? But it's inappropriate to use polycrylic outdoors. It's only indoors. So outdoors, you must use an oil-based stain and polyurethane. Indoors, you have the choice depending on which stain you want to choose. As always, if you enjoyed the content, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button.